Zenobia is the very strongest garrison commander in Rise of Kingdoms, and in this video, we're going to figure out who you should pair her with to conquer and counter literally every rally combination, at least the best we could muster, in the game. So stick around to see which rally combos work the best, which garrison combos work the best, and hopefully to start getting better results with your rallies and your garrisons. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisco Gaming, a sponsored content creator for Rise of Kingdoms, and in this video, we are going to show you 11 different rally reports where we tested some of the best combinations we could muster for pairing with Zenobia and trying to take her down. If you like Rise of Kingdoms guides that help you get value add and smash your enemies, consider smashing that subscribe button for daily Rise of Kingdoms videos. Our first report that we're going to show you is going to be Zenobia paired with Theodora, and it's a classic Attila Takeda trying to take that combination down. And of course, before we get into the results of this, we should talk a little bit about the methods that we used. For every one of these tests, we've isolated or basically removed the presence of a special city skin. We're not using equipment for these tests. All the commanders are expertise in every test that we run, so they are fully 100% maxed commanders, and everybody is using a 5% defense token for what that's worth. We don't reinforce any rallies, we don't reinforce any garrisons, which means this is a best emulation of what happens in Ark of Osiris practice matches. What will happen in the real world for a long-running rally will be different, but this is what we use frequently as a starting point for figuring out what would be a more worthwhile expensive test to run, reinforcing those rallies in a different situation, like at a level 1 pass. Ooh, that was my reminder to buy the VIP shop. Don't forget to buy the VIP shop. So anyways, we're going to show you this first report, and oh my goodness, the results are savage. I feel like I could make a clickbait thumbnail out of this one and be like, the results will shock you, because holy jeez, Attila Takeda gets fully 100% rolled by that Zenobia-Theodora combination. I mean, it is just ridiculous. This, I suspected, would be one of the strongest combinations, the Zenobia-Theodora. And assuming I go expertise Zenobia, which I plan to do, yeah, this is a combination I will likely be using. So let's see if we can do any better than this breakdown of 238,000 sevs inflicted on the attacker and 107,000 sevs for the defender. Looking to the next report, we're going to use a YSS Zenobia against the very same Attila Takeda and see how it performs. Looking in on the result, this did not do quite as well as our previous combination, but oh my goodness, did it do very, very, very well. 225,000 sevs for the attackers and 114,000 sevs for the garrison. If you've got YSS or you've got Theodora, you can pair them with Zenobia, and that's going to go really well. Keep in mind, this was a YSS primary, a combination you might not have expected. I certainly wouldn't have. I would have anticipated that the infantry tree would be more compelling than the leadership tree, but I think what we're really seeing unfold here is the power of the garrison tree plus defense tree. It's the combination of those two that's really, really good, and there honestly aren't that many points of spillover into the infantry tree. Most of the points are going to go into the garrison tree and the defense tree. And by the way, we've established in a number of videos that defense seems to outperform support. So let's see if in one of these reports we've actually flipped that around and made the Zenobia the primary. In this case, we are actually baselining for our next report. We said, wait a minute, let's just compare everything we've done to what we're using today, and that is the YSS and Theodora. Compared to what we're using as the best garrison today, or I guess leading up to the existence of Zenobia, how does this do? And I'll be honest, Zenobia is doing better, but it's not like life-changingly better. The YSS Theodora combo is still really very, very good. 221,000 sevs for the attacker in this instance, and 135,000 sevs for the defender. So for a long-running rally, obviously the Results change a little bit for a number of reasons, but what I want to call attention to is that the fact that these small differences between the reports are going to be magnified over time potentially. And so far, it does seem like the Theodora, when paired with Zenobia, is the best pair. However, it is really important to mention that Theodora is giving you a buff when you're above 50% strength, and YSS is giving you a buff when you are below 50% strength. So those YSS combos are actually going to be more performant over time. So there's an argument to be made here that the YSS primary with Zenobia secondary is a better combination. The next combination that we tested out is a Charles Martel primary with the Zenobia secondary. Lots of people have Charles Martel. That commander has been showing up in garrisons since KVK Season 1 and just slaying it. So is he still good? And the answer is, yeah, he's still good. I worry very much, actually, about how performant this would be against an Archer rally. I feel like an Archer rally would get a lot of edge against Charles Martel, as has been the case in every KVK since he's existed. But if you're dealing with cavalry, which was the case here, the cavalry get very much wrecked. 225,000 sevs for the Attila Takeda rally, and for the garrison, we're looking at 122,000 sevs. All in all, so far, my favorite combo is actually the YSS Theodora combo, again, because it gets stronger when you get weaker. Let's get a look at the next test, and in this test, we bring Constantine to the table. Constantine has been very performant in a number of seasons of KVK, against Attila Takeda specifically. So if you had to guess, does he do better or worse than the Charles Martel? In this instance, it's the Zenobia primary, and when we scroll down, we can see that this does not perform quite as well. 221,000 sevs for the Attila Takeda, and 135 sevs for the Constantine. It is directionally kind of in the same place, but I want to call attention to a couple things that make me very much less excited about using a Constantine. And the biggest reason that I'm less excited about Constantine is that he does have a really big heal that will fire off once during the fight. In Osiris testing, that makes a huge difference for non-reinforced rallies, but in real-world KVK situations, that actually is not helping you very much at all. In fact, it's borderline irrelevant to get that heal. So I don't think I would recommend a Constantine over a Charles Martel, and still my highest pick would be the YSS or the Theodora to pair with Zenobia. Looking to our next report, now we mix things up. We say, okay, if Zenobia Theodora performed the best in our tests with the Zenobia garrisons, what if we try a different rally and see if it sticks? So we use Alexander the Great with Harold Secondary. This is, by the way, very much a rally I would expect to see be more performant over time, when it stacks up higher and higher with the attack boost and the defense reduction. Because of Harold's skill that negates the defense reduction, the higher that's stacked, the more benefit you're getting every time you have that skill proc that is negating the defense reduction. So if we look at how this actually performed, we see 257 sev wounds for the attacker and 118 sev wounds for the defender. Completely savage. And I do want to mention that Cortex is not VIP 17, so there is 5% damage boost that's missing here. That certainly influences the results, but let's be real for a second. You're not going to rally Zenobia with Alexander the Great and Harold Sigurdsson unless you think there is secret sauce to the fact that in a longer running rally, they will perform better. And I personally think there might be some secret sauce there. I do think in a longer running rally, they will do well, but that's my unsubstantiated belief. Let's get to the next actual test, which is going to be an Alexander the Great with Harold Sigurdsson, testing out to see, okay, how does that do against a different garrison combination? Let's look at the Zenobia and the Constantine paired together. If we get a look at the results for this one, this does not do quite as well. 247 sevs for the attacker and 141,000 sevs for the defender. To me, this points pretty strongly. Again, it's another data point saying, hey, wait a minute. if you're benefiting a ton by getting the heal in this game mode when you get below 50% from Constantine's 4th skill, and that's still not making this report look busted good for the Constantine, then yeah, other combinations will do better. And so Constantine continues to be one of the commanders I think is least impressive when paired with Zenobia. Up until this point, we've only rallied with infantry and with cavalry, so it's time to send some archers into the mix. We rally with Ramses and YSG, a very powerful archer combination that struggles tremendously against the YSS Theodora combination, but man, if you try to defend with a Charles Martel, that is not going to go well for you if you're facing against a Ramses Esong. So what about rallying into Zenobia? How do these archers perform? We took the very best performing combination, that is the Theodora with the Zenobia, and we ran archers against them to see how they would do. Looking in on this report, 258,000 sevs for the archers, 126,000 sevs for the defenders. There's really no question here. Archers are getting wrecked by infantry when paired with Zenobia, and that is absolutely astonishing. I thought that archers were supposed to be the counter to infantry, but this gives us an opportunity to highlight something that is very true in Rise of Kingdoms for those of you that haven't noticed, which is that, hey, these different types of troops, they are relevant, but it's not the thing that will decide who wins. I would argue that bringing the right troop type to counter what you're battling is worth maybe 10 or 15% of effectiveness. It's not the major thing. Everything else matters a whole heck of a lot more than your troop type. Given that this combo did not perform so well, we wanted to see, okay, is there something else that might do decently against these archers? We stacked in the Constantine with Zenobia. Constantine's not had a virtue yet so far compared to the other pairs, so let's see if that virtue is against archers. And if we scroll down, we can see that, hey, wait a minute, this rally went very, very differently, and it was really, really bad. This might have been the worst performing rally for the Zenobia. This was actually one of the only times where she almost lost, which was somewhat astonishing. So yeah, Constantine is a horrible pick with the Zenobia. If you were looking for overwhelming evidence, in my eyes, I think we found it. The archers had 199,000, heck, almost 200,000 sevs, and the defense had 190,000 sevs. They had a tiny amount of units remaining compared to most of these other encounters. This was a situation where archers could nearly crack the Zenobia, and if this wasn't a Osiris test, if it was a long-running rally, I might put my money on the Ramses YSG actually taking them down. If you did think that your opponent was going to rally your Zenobia with skill damage, there was one other commander that we still haven't tested that we wanted to give a shot, and that was a Wu Zetian. How does Wu Zetian do with Zenobia? Wu Zetian doesn't care about the troop type, and she is very, very punishing against skill damage. So we ran that same very skill damage heavy rally with the Ramses YSG to see how it would perform against the very anti-skill damage Zenobia and Wu Zetian combination. If we get a look now at the results, we can see it was 263,000 sevs for the rally and 140,000 sevs for the defense. This did not do as well as I thought it would, and it makes me start to wonder if we really have moved out of the era of Wu Zetian being a star performer. Perhaps her role is now very niche when trying to defend with siege units and to get decent trades, at least decent trades, with a unit that is otherwise not very valuable and makes your kingdom accumulate a lot of essentially dead power if you don't find a way to mobilize it for war. I've covered that topic extensively in another video. I'll have a card up in the top in case you want to watch that after this one, how we use siege units to trade nearly positive with Attila Takeda. In the final report we're going to share with you today, we actually double back on infantry and say, well, gosh, what about Guan? Does Guan have a role to play in this new meta? Let's try Guan with Herald and run it against the best combo we could find for Zenobia, and that is the Zenobia with the Theodora. So we take that Guan-Herald combination, and I want to, again, remind you that I think Herald does much, much better in a long-running rally. However, here is the result. 288,000 sevs for the attackers, a truly savage outcome, and 126,000 sevs for the defender in Zenobia Theodora. That defense performed exceptionally well in a variety of situations, and the most performant situations we found here were the Theodora as a secondary to Zenobia, and also the YSS primary. The YSS primary to a Zenobia secondary. This is the combination perhaps we all should be watching to see how it performs in other situations, because when YSS gets low, he starts doing really positive things to influence your performance. To be more specific, the thing that he's offering is 20% increased damage when you're below 50% of unit strength. Yeah, 20% damage is really, really good. And let's just contrast that for a second to the Theodora, who is offering a buff when you are above 50% troop strength. Here's the skill we were looking for, Co-Ruler. When Theodora is above 50% strength, troops deal an extra 10% damage. So you're getting 10% extra damage when you're above 50% strength. And honestly, yeah, that's a big deal, but it's only going to last for a very short time before the pair leading that garrison gets below 50% strength. And that's what this is measured based off of. How is the pair that is leading the garrison doing? But, of course, with all of this said, there are a lot of theories running around now about archers that will at some point, perhaps in the not too distant future, show up right down over here at the bottom of this screen, and that those archers could take down the Zenobia meta. Also worth mentioning that for the new Heroic Anthem version of Kingdom vs. Kingdom, you get 2 additional skills that you can throw onto whatever pair of commanders you're bringing onto the battlefield, and that's going to vary every single KVK based on the bastions that will appear in your KVK. So which commander pairings are going to be the very best could very heavily be influenced by those separate skills. I would like to believe that those separate skills can very much influence the relevancy of different commander pairings, but it could just be that the best commander pairing gets even better, and it wouldn't surprise me if our Zenobia gets even stronger and harder to deal with, even more entrenched in that garrison meta by virtue of those skills being there. Of course, if you'd like more information about the Heroic Anthem KVK or bastions in general and how those support skills work, I've got a video where we've put that together. Card will be up in the top if you'd like to see that after you complete this one. If you enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor, drop a like on the video to thank Kingdom 75, the Smash Squad, for compiling this information for you in this video. We're starting to enter the realm now where our more in-depth commander testing is not something that we'll be able to share. But if you do me that favor, drop a lot of likes on the video. That might nudge us in the direction of sharing a thing or two more. If you're interested in seeing it, that'll be the signal. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. You can always unsubscribe later, so what the heck are you waiting for? Start getting those daily Rise of Kingdoms videos designed to show you the newest commanders, get value, smash your enemies. I mean, yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Should I say let's smash? Would that be weird? Yeah, I guess that would be weird. Awkward Chisco. Hey, smash that subscribe button, and until next time, you have fun smashing the kingdom.